Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and it is Sunday, so you know what that means. It is time for a full Classic Challenge video, starting all the way up from 0 wins, and we are going to be playing with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, as always. So, I did mention last week, I uploaded this same kind of video on Sunday last week. I did mention that I wanted to make it a weekly series, so yep, right here we have our 12-win Classic Challenge, just under 7 days ago. And so I think I'm just going to be committing to it and sticking to it, making a full Classic Challenge video every Sunday. I think you guys all really wanted to see it happen as well. I really appreciated your guys' comments, letting me know that this is the kind of content you'd be interested in, because it's something pretty fun for me to do. And honestly, like, the only downside is that it might take a while, because it's like we're going to be here for maybe 50 minutes, and might get kind of tiring just, playing and commentating for a full hour. But it is fun, and it is worth it. So, anyways, hope you guys are all doing well. I'm doing pretty well myself, actually. Just had a nice brunch with my dad, and I got back, so I figured, might as well record the video early in the day. It's only early afternoon here, and yeah, might as well just get it done. So, we already playing with 3.0 Xbow Cycle. Frequently asked questions. Electro Spirit is better than Ice Spirit right now because of the meta. There's a lot of bait, there's a lot of Skeleton King, and a lot of Graveyard, and E-Spirit's better than Ice Spirit in all of those matchups. And Archers are definitely worse than Archer Queen right now, but I know that a lot of you guys want me to play 3.0 Xbow Cycle, and I personally prefer playing it anyways. It's like my best deck, I'm most loyal to it, I guess. But yeah, we're going to be playing a full Classic Challenge. I will be commentating over all the games live as I'm doing right now to try and give you an insight into my thought process and decision making, and we'll try and have some fun along the way. So let's get right into the matches. As we find the first one against Spider Alal, we'll give him the good luck, and E-Spirit at the start is always a pretty solid starting play. You can't really go wrong with it, especially because, yeah, he tries to activate King, he actually messes it up. Let's just go for a Log, I guess, and Ice Spirit tells me it could be a bunch of things. Archer Queen as well. I actually don't really know what this is going to be anymore, but just going to Fireball the Queen back, which might be risky, by the way, because I don't have Login Cycle, so he does go for Royal Hogs. I'll just go for a Tesla. Down low, and he is going to have Royal Hogs Earthquake, unfortunately. I'll just go for a Knight here, and I think Log back. This will be pretty good log value, because not only does it hit the Royal Hogs backwards, but also it's going to take out the Queen after. And it looks like it's just going to be Royal Hogs Earthquake with Ice Spirit instead of Fire Spirit for whatever reason. But this is going to be one of Xbow's worst matchups in the entire meta. Of course, we are in a Classic Challenge and we are at 0 wins, so I'm not expecting our opponents to be the best. Like, no offense to them, but obviously they're going to be a bit more inexperienced, but we're still going to try and show you guys how I like to play this matchup. So, Split Archer is pretty safe play, and I think I'm going to Expo now. He's not playing anything, so I'm technically up a little bit, because I do have the Split Archers again. Goes for a low cannon, which is actually a pretty good play. Now I'm just going to Fireball these Royal Hogs. He's going to go for an Earthquake as well, and unfortunately, like, this is why it's such a bad matchup. That Earthquake just completely destroyed my Expo, and even though I Fireballed the Royal Hogs, I couldn't really do a lot about the Quake, unfortunately. So this is just going to be a really hard matchup because of the fact that they have the Earthquake, and they have the super fast cycle because it's a cycle deck, and they have the Archer Queen to give them a 3-card cycle too. So many hard reasons to struggle in this matchup, I guess. But still, one of the main fundamentals, I think you always want to be going opposite lane to your opponent. So even though I have more damage in the right, I'm still going to be going in the left. And he goes for a Queen in the back, which I'm just going to go for a cannon, a Knight in front of my Expo. And wow, he has a Valkyrie as well, which I absolutely wasn't expecting, because normally they're supposed to have Royal Delivery in this deck. But I guess he is just playing Hog Earthquake, and he substituted the Valkyrie in for, he substituted in the Royal Hogs for the Hog Rider, but still, I'm just going to go for a Tesla, and I can actually afford to go for a lower Tesla now, because he's not back to Earthquake right away. He used Earthquake on my Expo. That's going to be another good thing. You want to go Expo's opposite. You want to bait out their Earthquake so that you don't let them get value in their healthier side tower. And he's going to go for a Valk. I think I will just Fireball it. I'm not really expecting this to get much damage, honestly. I'm kind of expecting him to just Earthquake it, but I guess I'll just Log and force out the Queen ability early, so that I can deal with it after it crosses to my side a lot easier. He goes for the Earthquake, and yeah, like, he's kind of missing his Earthquakes, which I'm completely fine with, honestly. I'm just going to finish this off with, I believe, 2 Fireballs and a Log will do it. So let's just go for the first Fireball, first log. Now we just have to defend one more push, and another fundamental in this matchup is going to be this Tesla placement you see right here. It's going to be the anti-earthquake Tesla placement, and since obviously they're playing an earthquake deck, you want to use this placement so that they can't get earthquake value on both your Tesla and your tower. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty easy first win, and obviously he didn't play it very well, but still we were able to pressure pretty hard, and just kind of keep him on the back seat. Not sure why he had Ice Spirit instead of Fire Spirit, but playing against a hard counter first game, but again, it is a classic challenge. Like, it's not too big of a deal because they're probably not going to play the best. Like, my opponent's Earthquake placements weren't that great, to be honest, but into the next match, and oh my, it looks like it's going to be Royal Hogs again. Just going to cycle to my Fireball, and he activates King with his cannon, which is kind of unconventional, I guess, because, like, what if I had a Hog Rider? He would just get absolutely punished, since he would have cannon and cycle for the Hog, so just a pretty bad play overall. But anyways, looks like we're going to be up against the same matchup 2 games in a row, so we're going to have to try and do our best against the Royal Hogs Earthquake deck. And what I'm looking out for usually is I'm trying to see if they go for an Archer Queen, as he does. So notice how he has Archer Queen down. He doesn't actually have cannon and cycle either. He's probably going to have to go Royal Hogs here. So I'm cycling back to my Fireball, and he's actually just... Okay, I said I was cycling back to my Fireball, but I'm actually just going to go for a Log and E-Spirit here because I want to Fireball the Queen. Because I'm probably going to take a bunch of damage from that. Yeah, I take 2 hits, okay. So if I Fireballed the Royal Hogs, I might have actually lost, right? Because he had the Queen. If I went for a Knight, Queen would have just taken out the Knight, and then I would have been pretty low in Elixir because I just Fireballed the Hogs. So sometimes you have to let the Xbow die, so that you can defend. And that's a really important fundamental I'd like you guys to take note of, because you don't want to overcommit to your Xbows. And even though I have more damage in the right lane, I'm actually going to be going in for Xbows in the left, unless he goes for a Queen in the left. Because this is the tower I want damage in, right? The right side. But he could get Earthquake value on my tower as well. That's going to be a pretty nice Fireball. I have no idea why he just used the Queen ability. Honestly, I think that's just going to die. So I'm just going to wait for it to cross and then go for my Tesla. Notice how I waited for the Queen to get taken out by the tower before I went for my Tesla. And I had to go Skellies here as well because Royal Hogs are just so strong. The anti-Earthquake Tesla is really nice, but at the same time, it won't fully counter the Royal Hogs just because of how much damage they do. So you usually have to commit at least one other thing, whether that's a Fireball, whether that's Skeletons or E-Spirit. I would not recommend going for a Fireball as well. But he's Earthquake cycling. I think I will just Fireball cycle back, and I think that's going to be pretty solid. I can also just go for a normal Tesla here, because again, he just uses Earthquake. He won't have it in cycle. Another thing you can do, and he might be going in for an Earthquake now, so I'm going to go for Xbow opposite. Again, I just want to kind of bait out his Earthquake. He's going for a Queen in the back, and he's going to let my Xbow connect, actually, so I'm going to go for an E-Spirit, as there comes the Earthquake, so I'm actually just going to Fireball the Queen, and yeah, this is still a really good spot. Gonna Knight up high, actually, maybe try and force the Queen ability out early, or just, he just doesn't use it at all, I guess, which is fine as well. And now I can just go for a Log, and we have damage in both lanes, so, you know, even though I have more damage in the right, I'm still kind of committing to the left with Xbow sometimes, because I want him to be going for Earthquakes on my healthier side tower, which is the right side, so I'm doing that right now. Going for an Xbow, he goes for Cannon, that's why I went for Skeletons. Usually you want to predict with Skeletons, and I will just Fireball the Queen, but honestly this could be a huge connection if he doesn't do anything about it. He's not going to do anything about it. Wow, that is actually just going to be tower down, so that's going to be GG. We actually kind of like won in both lanes in that match. So opponents aren't playing the best, being honest. Like, I'm pretty low in a classic challenge, but hopefully this still gives you guys an idea on how to play against the Earthquake matchup, because obviously it is still a terrible matchup, but I just want to show you guys, and it does go to show that Xbow can outplay hard counters, and especially against opponents who don't play as well, you can definitely just play better than them and win. So hopefully that shows you guys the general game plan against that matchup, even though opponents weren't the best. But into the next match against a Japanese player, gonna give him the good luck, and let's go for an E-Spirit. Again, safe starting play. In terms of starting plays I wouldn't recommend for you guys, I would say don't go for like a Knight first play, or a Tesla first play, or Fireball, or Xbow. Anything else should not be as bad. Just gonna go for a Log as well. It goes for a Ram Rider plus Rage. Wow, that is very aggressive, but I'm just gonna go for a center Tesla, and hopefully it fully counters. But I'm gonna go for an Xbow actually, because that Ram Rider Rage was 7 Elixir. My Tesla was only 4. So, and he just wasted quite a bit, actually. He just went for guards plus zap. And I'm going to go for a knight. This is a bit premature because obviously the tower isn't helping out. But still, Xbow's helping out. And he's going to be pretty low in Elixir after he committed the Ram Rider plus Rage. Actually, just going to go for a prediction E-Spirit here. He goes for a Ram Rider. Going to go for Tesla. And by the way, I normally wouldn't recommend going for Xbow Tesla at the bridge like this, but this is kind of an interesting situation, and the lesson I want to give you guys is, if you're going to have to do a play, you might as well do it as early as you can, where you still get the most value out of it. And it might sound complicated at first, right? But what I'm trying to say is, if I just let the Ram Rider take out my Xbow, I would have had to go for a Tesla anyways, right? So if I go for a Tesla next to the Xbow instead, not only will it still take out the Ram Rider, but it also would keep my Xbow alive and get even more of a connection. So that's just, if you can make a play, you could generally play it as early as you can to get the most out of it in a situation like that. Hope that makes sense, but that's what really helped me out there. And just gonna fireball this Inferno tower, honestly, like, he's already down so much damage that I can really just afford to sit back and spell cycle for the rest of the match if I want to. Also, he hasn't revealed any big spells, I believe, so I'm just going to go for a Tesla in the middle. Reset. He does have Ram Rider, so center Tesla is going to be a pretty safe play since it will shut down Ram Rider from either lane. So yeah, just pretty much chilling, sitting back, and defending now, because we punished him pretty well at the start, got a big connection, and I might just go for an Xbow. Okay, he goes for a Lightning. Yeah, really good Xbow then, because he just spent his Lightning. Pretty big commitment. Gonna go for a Tesla. Hopefully the Tesla gets down in time, because he does go for a Rage. Just gonna log the guards back as well. And he goes for a Zap. Probably gonna get a Knight down, but a bit too late, because he's gonna be low in Elixir. Since he is probably gonna defend this Xbow, gonna go for an E-Spirit in the left, just to kind of create more chaos. Yeah, he goes for a Knight instead, and Xbow's doing crazy work in the right, so like, worst case, you know, even if I have to, even if I somehow lose my entire left tower, that's a huge lead in the right, I mean. And the anti-lightning Tesla placement right there, again, I mentioned it in the Earthquake matchup, it's both anti-lightning and anti-earthquake. I believe they have the same radius, so obviously my opponent is going to be having a lightning deck right now, so I want to be going for anti-lightning Teslas to not let him hit my tower plus Tesla with his lightning. But actually, the Zap Ram Rider does take out a fair amount of my stuff. He's going to have to log back a Knight as well, but that's fine. Now we are in a pretty good position. Just going to go for the Fireball Cycle, I think. And I can actually afford to go for a lower Tesla, because if he goes for a Ram Rider, it's probably going to be too slow, because he has to Lightning as well. Yeah, he just gives up. But sometimes in matchups like Lightning matchups and Earthquake matchups, you actually want to go for low Teslas instead of the anti-placement. It's kind of situation dependent, of course, but it can really be a thing where either they're not going to have enough Elixir to Lightning, and if they do Lightning, then they're going to be super low to the point where you can Xbow, or they're just going to be spamming at 0, and if you have a general idea of their Elixir, which you generally do as you get more experience in the game, like I would say I'm decent at counting Elixir, then you know that they won't have enough for the Lightning anyway, so no point going for anti-Lightning if they're not going to Lightning anyways. But either way, into the next match against I'm Sad. I wonder why, but hopefully it's not anything too serious. Let's go for a log on his tower, and that is a bit unfortunate actually, because he does have Logbait, so cycling log at the start is a very safe play, but if you do have Logbait, it's not going to be the best if they do have Logbait. But obviously, you have many other ways to deal with their cards anyways. Going to go for E-Spirit Knight to retarget the Princess and take it out. And yeah, like I went for Archer Skellies to fully counter the barrel, and it still worked out just fine, honestly. So, I don't know, I kind of want to log this again, honestly, and I'm kind of screwing my cycle over, to be honest. He did go for an E-Spirit, though. But I do have Archers ready for his next barrel, and I'm going to go for Skeletons now. I only take one hit, even though that's not optimal, honestly, so next time I'm going to try and fix my cycle and have log and cycle for his barrel. But again, you don't always need to be going for logs on the barrels. I'm going to go for an Xbow now. He just uses log. Goes for a high Valk and log and guards, actually. So that means he's not going to go for rocket. So I'm actually just going to log this back. And I know I literally just talked about not using log on offense, but if I can get a huge connection, it's going to be a bit different. And basically, he played Princess in the back, right? So that's 3 Elixir. Just going to fireball this, I guess. I could have gone Archers Skellies, but I was a bit distracted because I'm trying to explain to you guys. But basically, if he goes Princess in the back, he's going to be down 3 Elixir. Then he goes Valk Guards, which means I know he's not going to have enough for a Rocket in time. So that's why I went for an Xbow, because he would have obviously not gone for a Rocket. let alone had enough Elixir for it, and I also could have just gone for other stuff to protect if he went for Inferno Tower, which he also wouldn't have had enough Elixir for, so hopefully that makes sense as well. Basically, he was committing a lot, and I knew that he was basically at 0, because Princess Valk guards is 10 Elixir, so obviously he wasn't going to go for a rocket at the time. Now he does, which is fine. You know, he goes for guards plus rocket against the Xbow. That's going to be a -3 trade. I can just go for a knight to play it. And against Logbait decks, you usually want to start playing cards in the middle if you think they're going to be going for Princess at the bridge. So really helpful to track their cycle. I know that barrel's about in the right, so just going to log accordingly. And yeah, generally if you know that they're having Princess in cycle, you don't want to let them get Princess value at the bridge. Which is why I kind of cycled my knight up high. Gonna go for an Xbow now. Don't think he has Valken cycle. Well, okay, he does. He's back to it. But anyways, if I can just keep forcing out rockets, I'm going to be very happy, because obviously he wants to be rocketing my tower. If I just log every time and don't get caught by his tricky barrels, then I'll be in a really good spot. Gonna go for an Xbow now. I believe I've outcycled his rocket by at least 1 or 2 cards. Goes for low guards and E-Spirit. Now I think he's back to rocket, but he might go for an Inferno instead. So gonna go Skellies to predict, Archers as well to predict, and that's gonna be GG. So really nice win against Logbait. He didn't really have rocket in cycle, so I kind of just pressured to get him in an awkward spot and just kind of kept going from there. So against Logbait matchups, it is hard to outcycle if they play really well, but he does also have the Valkyrie. So I would say this is like a 60-40 or 65-35 matchup in his favor. But obviously there's a ton of outplay potential from both sides, and it's not like a hard counter where whatever I do, they're going to win. I mean, obviously Xbow has really good outplay potential, and having the Valk is a big thing instead of the Knight, because Knight means they have a faster cycle. Valk kind of slows down their cycle, and so you can actually try and outcycle them to try and get an Xbow connection, which is what I did. So that's going to be a real nice win, though. 4-0, off to a good start, 1/3 of the Classic Challenge done. Let's keep it going into the next match against a Chinese player. Pretty interesting, by the way. What do you guys think about the Chinese server, if you heard about it? There was basically some news where all the Chinese players now have their own server in Clash Royale. Which is interesting, right? Because that means they're not going to be allowed to be on the global server, which is what I'm playing on right now. Goes for a miner. I guess I'll just fireball this balloon back. And then I don't want to go for Tesla, really, because then I won't have Tesla in cycle. For if he goes for another balloon, tries to outcycle me. But this is looking like it's going to be miner balloon cycle. Let's see if he goes for a miner right now. If he does, I'll just log the skeletons, but he doesn't actually, so I'm just going to log anyways, I guess. And in this matchup, it's going to be a hard matchup for sure. But one really nice thing is if you save E-Spirit for the miners, it'll usually do you a pretty good job. So going to just go Skellies in the back and Knight for the Ice Golem, I guess. And then I have Archers ready to snipe the Musketeer. And okay, I kind of messed up my Archers, not going to lie. I thought it would be targeting my Knight, so that was kind of my bad, actually pretty bad misplay. He could punish me and support this pretty heavily, and that wouldn't be good. Yeah, he does. Wow, he actually spends quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take the miner damage. I think I could have gone Skellies too, but I had to go for a Tesla as well because Balloon is a pretty annoying threat. So actually pretty well played. I'll give our opponent the well played. And I just messed up my Archers. I should have waited for it to lock on to my Knight, the Musketeer. Instead, I was a bit impatient and didn't work out very well. But I think I want to switch lanes eventually. Like, I'll keep going in the left for now, but since he is obviously playing a fast cycle deck, I don't really want him to go same lane where he can just balloon my Xbow every time and get a counter push. So that's kind of my thought process. I'm going to go for an Xbow now, and then Knight to predict. I think he has a bomb tower in this deck, so he's going to go for Ice Golem Balloon, actually, which is a pretty good play. Actually, I think it's the right play. I think you're supposed to do that, not bomb tower the Xbow. But I think I do have to switch lanes now. But this is looking like it's going to be a pretty bad matchup. And not the best situation either, but I do believe I can come back if I play well enough. So I'm going to go Archers up high for the Musketeer. I think I have to log it back as well because it was going to take out my Archers, but going to go for an Xbow now. And he might go for Bomb Tower, which would kind of suck, as he does. And Balloon, actually, so that's not too bad then, because I can just let it go, and my Tesla from the last push is kind of helping out. Goes for a log. Gonna go Skellies after his Snowball comes in, because again, I know he has Snowball and Cycle, Now I'm going to go for an Xbow. I have archers counter pushing, and he goes for Ice Golem, and he actually messes up the Ice Golem. That's going to be huge. Just going to Fireball, and then E-Spirit Skellies for the Miner, log it back as well. In a matchup like this, when you get a connection, you need to make the most out of your connection. So I should actually really just be going for a Knight in front of my Xbow, but I guess I just didn't want to overcommit too much, but that's just going to be Fireball range anyway. So we were able to come back and win. We were down quite a lot, and that is going to be a hard matchup for sure. Even though I think it's a bit easier now that Balloon was kind of nerfed a couple balances ago. He does also have the log, which is annoying for tower damage, but worse against defending Xbows, because normally this deck runs Barb Barrel, which would be a lot better at defending Xbows. But yeah, basically opposite lane pressure, and then I decided to go same lane because I had a nice counter push, and I think it worked out really well. So really nice sequence to set up the win in that match against a pretty difficult matchup, actually. So let's keep it going into the next match against Alan Noob. Give him the good luck, and E-Spirit at the start. Always a pretty good play. Honestly, sometimes in classic challenges, I like to go Xbow first play, just to kind of speed things up a little bit, but it is risky again. So if you're trying to play like as safely and perfectly as possible, and you don't know what deck the opponent has, I would not be going for an Xbow first play, which is why I'm not going to do it in any of these videos. Going to be trying to keep these as educational as I can, and as like well played as I can as well. So he goes for a P.E.K.K.A in front of the Ewiz, which is kind of threatening, but I can actually just take it out really easily with archers and then skeletons. And this is another Xbow fundamental. Notice how I'm separating my archers from my skeletons, so if he goes for a zap, he won't be able to zap both. And now we can go for an Xbow. P.E.K.K.A's out of cycle, which is going to be his main counter to the Xbow, actually. Gonna go for a Knight as well. And he's probably going to zap this, if I had to guess. So I'm going to log, anticipating the zap, because if he goes for a zap, then the barbs would be basically dead. And Bandit is... yeah, now he goes for the zap, but I can just go for E-Spirit plus Skeletons. I could have also tried to not go for Skeletons, but I think it would have dashed onto my tower. So I just wanted to be safe, I think. And that worked out really nicely. So, P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam with most likely Magic Archer. They usually have either Magic Archer or Minions, or even the Archer Queen with the recent introduction of the Champions, of course. But either way, this should be a pretty solid matchup for Xbow, and I mean, he kind of messed up by playing a P.E.K.K.A super early, protecting the Ewiz. That's a pretty bad Magic Archer, actually. He should be going for it opposite lane, because I would Fireball it either way, but he's giving me value in his weaker side tower, which, as I mentioned in the Royal Hogs Earthquake matchup a while ago, you don't want to be doing that with Xbow. Like, I don't want to be going same lane as him to give him Earthquake value. This is like kind of the same thing in just a slightly different situation. He should be going for Magic Archer's opposite. But anyways, just going to go E-Spirit. And by the way, one benefit of E-Spirit over the Ice Spirit is in a situation like that you saw, he had a Battle Ram down. I could still go for E-Spirit at the bridge to pressure. And okay, he's going to have Golden Knight. Actually, that's going to be instead of Royal Ghost, I think. I guess it makes sense. We haven't seen a Royal Ghost all match. And he goes for a Fireball. Pretty desperate Fireball, I would say, because he's obviously trying to come back in this matchup when he's down so much. But still, that's not going to be the best way to do it, because it's kind of desperate. And, you know, he's not playing a chip deck. He's playing a beatdown Bridgespam deck. So, like, that kind of Fireball, I wouldn't really say is a great play. But he goes for another Fireball, and notice how I was completely fine letting that Xbow die. My goal is going to be to cycle back to a new Xbow, and instead make that be the Xbow that's the killer. So going to go for Archer same lane, and Golden Knight is there. Hopefully Knight takes one more hit, as it does, from the P.E.K.K.A, and I'm going to go for an Xbow. I believe we've outcycled his P.E.K.K.A. Might be back to it now. It looks like he is not, actually, so Xbow is on tower, and he's going to be forced to zap this if he wants to retarget it. But looks like he doesn't, actually, so that's just going to be game. So GG. Pretty nice win against P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam, and he did have Golden Knight instead of Royal Ghost, which I would say is a pretty big game changer, actually, because Ghost is a very annoying card, not gonna lie. Like, I'm sure you guys can relate. You basically need the Knight and Cycle. If you go for anything else, they could support it with a zap, or it's just gonna be hard to time, like, Skeleton surrounding it perfectly. So Ghost, just a pretty annoying card, and him having Golden Knight definitely made it easier, but he made a pretty big mistake at the start. We punished him accordingly, and it was a pretty smooth match after that. So, 6-0, half of the Classic Challenge done. Gonna give him the good luck into the next match against Ghost, and I think let's just split archers. Sometimes if you really want to try hard, you can just leak at the start and wait for what the opponent does, but Xbow is generally a single elixir deck, so I would say usually I like to make the first play if they're not going to make one. And he goes for a Tesla, by the way, which is a mistake, because as you can see, if I have Xbow, it's going to be a really bad play. That's why I wouldn't advise you guys to go for Tesla first play either, by the way. You do not want them to punish you. Like, if you go Tesla first play, and they go for maybe a balloon opposite, or something like that, you're just going to be forced to commit more than you need to. So, just not the best play. But looks like it might be a minor control deck, with goblins as well, Tesla, Rocket, or minor wall breakers maybe with goblins as well, and has Executioner. Gonna go for archers up high, I think. Exy is on my knight, and okay, that was a pretty bad set of archers actually. I was hoping my knight would survive a bit longer, but we can just go for skeletons afterwards, and unfortunately the range is so long that it splashes my tower, but we're still fine. We're in the damage lead either way, and I don't actually know what this is going to be, because I feel like it would be the Viper Hog Exy NATO deck, right? Because he has Executioner, Valk, etc. But he does have a Tesla in there, which is a bit weird. But I went for a Knight there just because you could see he didn't have enough Elixir for the Rocket right away. He spent 4 with the Tesla, 3 with the Guard, so he was at 3 Elixir. Just general Elixir counting things. And yeah, these Goblins aren't very threatening, actually. And I'm kind of tempted to not cycle my Log, but I guess I will. But obviously, if he has guards for my Xbow, I'd much rather just have Log and Cycle to deal with them. But at the same time, I think I do just want to spell cycle him as well. So just going to go for an Xbow now. And I think let's go for a Knight to predict the Tesla. He's probably not going to be back to a Rocket. So I do want to predict the Tesla. He goes for guards as well, and this is exactly what I meant. I'd much rather have Log and Cycle for this. Let's try and surround the Executioner with some skeletons. Perfect. We get the perfect surround up. And that's probably going to be an Xbow connection. Let's go for E-Spirit Knight. Knight down just in time to protect against the Tesla, so you really do need fast reaction time and reflexes to play Xbow pretty well. But if you do, you can make really nice plays like those. And going to go for archers again, predicting whatever he plays on the Xbow. He should be pretty low in Elixir, obviously, because he just used Tornado. And yeah, looks like he didn't even have much Elixir at all. And I don't really know what his game plan is going to be right now, because he's just going for these Valk guards pushes at the bridge, but that's like not really a win condition. So his win con is, I guess, Rocket Cycle, which is kind of funny, I guess. But obviously it doesn't really work out against Xbow, because if you don't have a second win condition, as soon as you use your Rocket, you're going to be in trouble against the Xbow. But anyways, that was just a really nice match. We kind of just punished him pretty well, and just kept up really nice offensive pressure the whole game. Protected my Xbows. Yeah, he gave us the well played as well. Protected the Xbows, and predicted against the Tesla, for example. But yeah, I'm not sure what... I wouldn't really think a deck like that would work very well. I think if you want to play Spell Cycle, you should at least have like a Poison in here as well, or an Earthquake. Not that's going to be the best deck idea either, but like having Goblins and Guards are both kind of redundant, because they both kind of serve the same purpose, right? So I would say probably just switch one of those out for a spell for a better deck. But I mean, I can't tell other people what to play. That would just be my personal opinion on the deck. But anyways, into the next match against Noah HTT. We are now 7-0. And with this kind of hand, I'm actually tempted. Okay, I was going to say I'm tempted to Xbow first play. He goes for a Golem anyway, so I'm going to go for Xbow opposite. And hopefully I can show you guys how to deal with a Golem first play. I don't really like being in this situation anyways, though, because it's just a bit uncomfortable. Like, I don't really know what he's going to have, and anything could go wrong at any time. But going to go for a Tesla. Let's find out if he has a Lightning. Against this kind of situation, I like to separate the Night Witch from the Golem, like this, and take it out, so that I don't let the bats accumulate. You know, if I targeted the Golem first, the Night Witch would have just spawned more bats, and that's actually going to be a flawless kind of punish against Golem first play. So that's really how you want to deal with it. Obviously, he didn't have any Lightning, so it's going to be an easier defense if they don't have Lightning, but you can go for an Xbow in the placement I told you just now, the inner placement, and you want to do that because notice how the Golem went to my Xbow after getting taken out by the Tesla. So, after the Tesla died. So, that's why you want to go for the inner Xbow, because you can just kind of pull the Golem all the way across the map. So yeah, just a little bit of placement advice for you guys there, but that was a really nice defense, and I don't see a way we can lose this now as long as we defend perfectly going forward, which I'm going to try to do. That's a pretty aggressive Golem at the bridge, actually, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Skelly King ability is full, unfortunately, so I'm actually waiting on my Log, because it's going to be pretty annoying, actually. But I'm going to go for an E-Spirit, Fireball as well, and then cycle back to my Knight, and then Log, and that should be a solid defense. Skelly King is honestly going to be pretty hard to defend against. Like, I took a bunch of damage there. But As long as you use a log, you should be fine. E-Spirit's also a backup option, by the way, so that's why I think E-Spirit is a lot better in this meta. If I had Ice Spirit in this match, it would have been so much harder, right? Because he has Night Witch, he has Skelly King, and just a lot of bait. Oops, I pulled up my phone bar there, but I'm going to be fireballing this Witch, Night Witch, and Tombstone. That's a lot of fireball value that I don't think my opponent should have given me. And Fireball Log is a pretty standard way to deal with the Night Witch, but I mean, I don't even need to this time because for some reason he goes for Golem behind the Night Witch, which I just don't really understand why he would do that. I mean, don't you want to protect your Night Witch? But either way, let's see if he goes for Lightning here. He does finally go for Lightning, and that's why you will see that I've been going for these pre-Teslas pretty much the whole time, right? Or like Tesla's early enough so that if he does go for the Lightning, I do have a second Tesla back in Cycle. So this is exactly how you want to play against Golem Lightning decks. Of course, that's exactly how you want to defend with the pre-Teslas getting back to a second one after he goes for Lightning. But it's going to be a pretty annoying matchup if you don't get an X protection early on. Thankfully, my opponent did go for Golem first play, and as annoying as it was, that I was able to punish him with a nice Xbow and defend perfectly afterwards. He looks to be kind of sad at the end there, but yeah, hopefully showing you guys how to beat some really nice hard counters in this video. So yeah, let's keep it going. We are now 8-0. Really nice start to the Classic Challenge. Into the next match against Rivera 15, which is actually kind of funny because one of my friends is called Rivera. But we're going to go for Archers first play, I guess. Split Archers. Goes for Skelly's E-Spirit, so it's going to be some kind of Cycle deck. Musketeer as well, so I'm thinking it's going to be 2.6 maybe. Going to go for Skeletons here because I don't want the E-Spirit to chain onto my tower as well. And 2.6 is going to be a pretty hard matchup, actually, not going to lie. I don't really like this matchup at all. But we're going to try and do our best. I'm hovering my Tesla right now because if he goes for a Hog, as he does, you want to have Tesla up and ready. And that's the standard placement you want to use. Notice how both towers target the Hog Rider, and he also cannot fireball the Tesla plus the tower. So those are the reasons you want to do that. And now he's doing what all 2.6 players do, you know, aggressively cycling, trying to outcycle my Tesla, which he might actually successfully do. But I do have backup plans. I'm probably just going to go for an Xbow, actually. Yeah, so this is another thing you can do against a Hog if you don't have Tesla and Cycle. A lot of people ask me, how do you defend a Hog first play? Or how do you deal with a Hog? And I actually get damage for that as well because he messed up his Skeletons as well. So that's how you want to deal with a Hog if they outcycle your Tesla. Usually you want to pull it with the Xbow because anything else will kind of die. Like you go for Night Archers, he could just fireball your Archers. And even though it's a huge overcommitment, you will be down so much that the Hog will still, I mean, them being down won't even matter because the Hog will still get to your tower and get like 3-4 hits, and then the game is pretty much just over from there, to be honest, like in a matchup like this. So you have to avoid taking early damage. Don't even know why he's giving me fireball value on his Musketeers, but I'm going to take it. And like right now he's kind of playing pretty badly, right, because he's letting me get fireball value on his weaker tower, which I want, and he shouldn't want, so I don't know why he's doing that. But goes for Ice Golem, which kind of telegraphs that he's going to go for a Hog. Just going to pre-Tesla, and he does go for the Hog, yeah. So, I mean, if he goes for Ice Golem at the bridge, it's pretty obvious he's going to go for Hog, and wow, he's actually going to have Lightning, not Fireball, so this just changed for the worse, I think. Going to be an even harder matchup, actually, so I thought he had Fireball, but going to go for an Xbow opposite right away. He just uses Lightning. Knight to break the cannon, of course, as it does come down. Going to log everything back as well. And something else should be forced out here. Yeah, Lightning gets forced out, so again, you want to be pressuring opposite lane. I don't want him to be going for Hogs in the same lane, or Lightning's in my weaker lane, at least. So let's keep going for Xbows, I guess. Knight again to predict the cannon. And yeah, he's probably going to Lightning again, actually. Although I think for him, the best play would just be going for a Hog on the Xbow. That would be the most annoying play for me to deal with. But he's giving me fireball value on the Muskie. Just going to take it, and Xbow is on tower. That's going to be really nice. Actually going to overcommit quite a lot to this Xbow, I think, because I want to get a huge damage lead. In a matchup like this where they have Lightning, you really need this damage. So I think, yeah, that's basically going to be game. I don't know what my opponent was really thinking, but I can just Spell Cycle, I guess, and then just pre-Tesla just in case. This is the placement you want to use if you're pre-Teslaing against Hog. I usually don't recommend it because it's not that good against Hog Fireball, at least. They can also snipe it, by the way, so that's why I usually don't recommend it. But obviously at the very end there, I was just getting back to a second lightning, so it was fine. And yeah, Hog, lightning, really tricky matchup, I would say, actually. But maybe not that bad, because actually, like, an earthquake would be a lot worse than lightning. Lightning is obviously a much heftier cost, so if he goes for a Hog lightning, that's 10 elixir. That's a huge commitment, and I can probably Xbow after that, and he might be in a really bad spot. But yeah, still I would say a pretty difficult matchup. And so far, we had some really nice matchups, actually. We had... sorry, I just had like a hiccup. But we had P.E.K.K.A, pretty good matchup. This is like a really good matchup. But then like Golem is a hard counter. This is a hard matchup. This is a hard matchup. Logbait's a hard matchup. And then two of the hardest matchups in the game at the start. So we are actually playing really well this Classic Challenge, which I'm pretty happy about. Hopefully helps you guys with some kind of example of how to play the matchup as well. All these hard matchups. But into the next match against Big Brother XX. Let's just cycle Log first play. Goes for a Knight. I'm going to Xbow actually, because I want to find out what he has, and he just uses Knight, which is going to be like his main counter to the Xbow, I would say. Or at least the main tank for the Xbow. So going for E-Spirit to kind of take out the Ice Wiz early and just try and get some value. Now I'm going to go for a Knight and then Skelly's for his own Knight, and sadly my plan didn't work, but my plan just now basically was, I'm not going to log on the Knight, by the way. Notice how he goes for a Tombstone. I don't want to be very low on Elixir, so I'd rather just chill and sit back. I'm fine taking one Knight hit anyways, it's opposite lane. And okay, that was really bad, those set of archers. This could be really bad, actually. That was a mistake by me. But E-Spirit, wow, E-Spirit does insane work there, and that is another reason why I told you guys that E-Spirit's better than Ice Spirit. Look at how much work it did just now. If I had Ice Spirit, probably would have taken a ton of damage. But I went for high archers. That's generally my go-to play against a Barb Barrel. But for some reason, he went Barb Barrel Graveyard in single, which is a terrible play. I wasn't obviously expecting him to do it. Gonna go for Xbow Tesla, because he just wasted his Knight, and Xbow's gonna be on tower. No, he actually gets to the Tombstone at the last second. But I'm gonna pull this Knight out of Xbow range so that I can get a small connection. Notice how I pulled it out of range with the E-Spirit there, so I get a nice connection. And in this Splashyard matchup, you always want to be going opposite lane, because if I go same lane as him, he does have a poison in this deck most likely, and he will just poison my Xbow, and it'll be my weaker side tower. So I've talked about this a lot in the video already, but you always want to be going opposite lane for the most part against any kind of deck that could spell out your Xbow, because you don't want them to get spell value in the same lane. But I don't know why he's going for these Knights in the back, because like that's his main tank for the Xbow. Notice how he has to go for kind of an awkward Ice Wiz instead, and then a Baby Dragon, which I'm just gonna Tesla, and then I'm actually gonna Fireball. This is a lot of Fireball value that I definitely want to take, and that's gonna be a connection actually. Just gonna catch this Barb Barrel. You know, even though the Xbow basically died, I still cycled faster, and now I'm already back to another Xbow. So let's go for one right now. Goes for a Knight. Gonna go for... Wow, goes for a Knight Graveyard, which I do not agree with, actually. Because I can just get a really nice log on it, and then E-Spirit after, and even Skelly's after. And I guess I didn't get as much out of it as I expected to, actually. So maybe that play worked, or I just didn't punish him well enough. But anyways, like I said, this is now my weaker side tower, so even though I have a lot of damage in the right, I'm probably going to Xbow in the left next time, unless he wastes a poison. But, okay, he's going to go for a Knight Graveyard. I'm going to block it at the bridge. This is a pretty good play you can use against Graveyard. Does go for a poison, by the way, so I'm going to go for an Xbow right away, and then E-Spirit just to clean up the rest of the Graveyard. Don't want to take too much damage. I'm going to go Skelly's Log, catch the Barb Barrel, then log it back. Has to go for a Tombstone now. It's the only card in hand. I guess Knight as well. I'm not really counting his Elixir very well, but he doesn't have Poison and Cycle right now, so this is going to be a really nice connection. And actually it might be a game-winning connection. So just going to Tesla, make sure the Baby Dragon doesn't hit my Xbow, just because I think that was going to be a game-winning connection, and it was. But yeah, that's how you want to play against Splashyard. I didn't play it too well, honestly, at the start. One of my biggest mistakes was splitting archers at that one time, where he went Barb Barrel, but I mean, Barb Barrel Graveyard in single is such a bad play because you can literally just go for an archers on it. They have to go for a poison if they want to take out your archers, otherwise that's just a straight up -7 trade. So that was a really bad play by him, honestly. But still, you know, I guess I should have gone low archers. I didn't want to go for them too low. I guess that's just my habit. I usually go for archers up high like that. I don't really know why, actually, but maybe lower archers would have been safer, because one would have helped out against the Graveyard too, but Either way, wasn't expecting that play at all, but just always going opposite lane. Unless they waste a poison. Like, he went for a random Knight Graveyard. I just went Xbow opposite and got a big connection, and a few fundamentals you can take away there. One, try and have either E-Spirit or Log in Cycle against the Graveyard push, so that if they poison your archers, like he did there, you can just go for one of those two to clean up the rest of the skeletons. And two, go opposite lane. And three, you can sometimes block Graveyard tanks at the bridge, like he went for a Knight Graveyard there. I just blocked the Knight at the bridge, and blocking the Graveyard tank means your tower will be freed up to target the Graveyard skeletons early, and that'll usually be really nice. So, yeah, a pretty good match there. I think I played it pretty well, apart from the small mistakes there. But 10-0 now. Let's keep it going into the next match against Capitan17. Gonna give him the good luck, and let's go for an E-Spirit at the start. I really love this play, honestly. It's a nice play. Goes for Bar Barrel, and don't know why he's laughing when he's the one who messed up the Bar Barrel. I guess he's laughing at himself. But, yeah, he did mess up, and Bar Barrel Inferno Dragon tells me it's probably going to be Lumberloon, which could be annoying, but we'll find out. I'm going to actually leak here, because I don't want to commit anything else. Okay, he does have Ram Rider instead, so it's going to be Bridgespam with Inferno Dragon. I wasn't saying that in what I thought the deck would be, because it's like a much less common deck these days. Bridgespam with this kind of Bridgespam deck, with Archer Queen as well. I guess he has Mega Knight, so that's actually going to be kind of annoying, actually. This version with Mega Knight, Archer Queen. I don't really like this matchup very much, even though I think it should be Xbow's matchup overall. But just going to Fireball Log the Queen. If he goes for anything else in front, I can just kind of take it out. Goes for Bandit. Just going to go for low skeletons. Look at that skeleton's placement to fully counter the Bandit. After the Bandit takes up the skeletons, it will walk to the tower. So even if he goes for a Zap or something, it would have been pretty good. I went for an E-Spirit there as he went for the Bar Barrel, which actually worked out in my favor because I did thankfully not get my E-Spirit die to the Bar Barrel. That would have been pretty bad. But I'm going to go for a Tesla. If he goes for a Ram Rider, I will Xbow. And I'm expecting him to go in the... Okay, he goes... that's actually kind of well played by him. I wanted to go in the left because obviously he has an Inferno Dragon coming down in the right, so I don't want to go into an I-Drag. But I also don't want to go in the left into a Ram Rider either, so pretty smart play by him, and sadly ruined my plans. But just going to Fireball. Hopefully the Tesla gets one hit, as it does, so perfect. Just fully countering the Queen for +1 trade. And yeah, so far just playing really passively. Don't really feel like going for Xbows yet. I think he is going to have either Lightning or Poison. Hopefully he does have Poison though. And he goes for the Poison now. So I'm going to go for an Xbow right away. Just uses Poison. Goes for an I-Drag as well actually. So goes for a Mega Knight, and pretty well played going for a low Mega Knight as well. Kind of annoying. But just going to go for a Knight myself to distract from the Xbow. Keep my Xbow alive kind of. And does go for a pretty smart Bandit to take it out. But now I've outcycled his Mega Knight. So going to go for another Xbow. Really nice pressure. Goes for a very awkward Queen. I bet he didn't want to go for a Queen like that. And then Ram Rider just going to go for a Tesla. And Log. Tesla to take out the Ram as soon as possible. And Log as well. I-Drag just going to Fireball it, I think. Thankfully I hit the Fireball. Then going to predict the Bandit with Skeletons. Goes for a Bar Barrel instead. Going to catch it. And that should be GG or pretty close to GG. Because this Xbow is just going to town. A lot of damage. Yeah, that's enough for a Fireball, actually. So I'm just going to defend this pretty lightly. Don't really mind it getting close to my tower because I just have Fireball. And yeah, pretty flawless game, actually. Didn't take any damage other than spell damage, I believe. So yeah, really nice game. Not much else to say, just I think I played it really well. And that is pretty much textbook how you want to handle this matchup, which I don't actually see very often these days. But I think just going for Teslas in the middle, very good play against most Bridgespam decks, because they can't really do anything about it. He doesn't even have a Magic Archer in this deck either, so we can't really snipe the Tesla. And then I just went for an Xbow after I was in a pretty good spot. He wasted Poison, so I went for an Xbow. And then I let the first Xbow kind of die. I committed to it, but I didn't like overcommit to it, and then I cycled back to another Xbow, outcycling his Mega Knight, and that was the game-winning Xbow. So 11-0. Let's go for the final match to get 12 wins, a very clean 12-0. I believe in the last video I got 12-0, and the one before that I got 12-0 as well. So, you know, hopefully we can keep this a flawless series on the channel. Obviously, if I do lose, I'm not just going to not upload it. But it would be really nice to get the flawless win, of course. So, into the next match, and hopefully final match against Kambing Lihei. And I am actually just going to leak a little bit here, see if he wants to do anything, because, okay, he goes for a ghost. That's exactly why I said, let's say I split archers, then went for a knight. I would have just split archers for no reason, right? So sometimes it pays off to wait a little bit. But ghost tells me it could be some kind of Bridgespam deck. Goes for a bandit as well. I'm actually going to go for archers same lane, because I don't know if this is going to be P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam or Mega Knight Bridgespam with lightning. And if he has lightning, archers same lane are going to be pretty good, actually, because he won't be able to deal with it. So I'm actually waiting to see if he responds to these archers. Goes for battle ram. Okay, that's actually a pretty big relief for me, because I was pretty scared it was going to be the Mega Knight Bridgespam deck. And wow, actually, it looks like it's going to be 3 Musketeers, because Ice Golem plus battle ram. Because Ice Golem you never really see in Bridgespam unless it's the Lumberjack one, but Battle Ram you never see either. If it was Bridgespam and Ice Golem, he would have had a Ram Rider, but he has Battle Ram, so that's how I know he has 3M. And he does Fireball my pump. I do Fireball his pump, I mean. I think that's just the play you want to make against Elixir Pump. And he goes for a Ghost, and so he is going to have 3M. So there are a few ways you can deal with 3 Musketeers. One of the most passive and probably best is defensive Xbows, which I do actually like quite a lot. But they're also pretty slow, so I don't usually like to always go for them. I think I will Expo, though. I have a Knight counter pushing, and should be a pretty solid counter push, actually. Yeah, he has to go for a Battle Ram opposite, and then I can just go for a Tesla. He's probably going to go for Ice Golem as well to tank. No, actually, messes up the Ice Golem. Very unfortunate by him. Gonna go E-Spirit, and the Knight will block most of the Hunter, and just kind of make the most out of this Expo connection, for sure. So, really nice Expo connection. Feeling really happy about this, because I'm really happy to keep the series flawless, you know, and not lose any matches at all with 3.0 Xbow Cycle, even in the hardest of metas. But I'm just gonna sit back and chill, fireball the pump, you know, even though I'm up a lot, might as well just play safe. He goes for 3M in the back, so really nice Expo at the same time. And I'm gonna be ready to commit to this. He goes for a Ghost, which I'm actually just gonna go for Skellies on, and then Log. So I can commit more to my Expo, and then I can just fireball these 2 Musketeers, I think, and that should be pretty solid. Yeah, Expo is on tower, so that was a really good sequence, I think. Pretty happy with the way I decided to pull it off. Unfortunately, I messed up the Skellies against one Barbarian. I also messed up my Log against the Hunter, but still takes out my archers, and that's going to be a flawless classic challenge, guys. Let's go. I'm really happy about that, actually. I mean, some people think that I shouldn't even be playing classic challenges because, you know, I have like a top 1 of 7 finish on ladder, and classics are obviously way easier than something like a grand challenge. But honestly, a lot of you guys love my classic challenge content. I've asked many times, and I will ask again, I guess. Let me know what you think about this series, if you want me to make it a weekly thing. I mean, it already is basically a weekly thing, but if you're happy with the way it is on my channel, you know, every Sunday, a full classic challenge starting from 0 wins. And I am pretty tired, actually, like 47 minutes of just sitting down recording. Also, gonna drink some water, but still, I don't really mind doing this, honestly. It's a lot of fun, and it's pretty stress-free because classic challenges, again, are pretty easy, at least for me. But not to, like, diminish anyone. I mean, if you win a classic challenge, you should be proud. Like, even I'm pretty proud of that, even though on my main account, like, and my other accounts, I have, you know, these ladder finishes, and a lot of other global tourney finishes and everything. I have the global tourney emote on a bunch of accounts, but I still think that classic challenges are a great way to practice, depending on your skill level, and hopefully I was able to help you guys out with the classic challenge, full classic challenge from 0 wins, going over a ton of different meta decks. This was just me playing 2v2s with my friend. We went on like a 30+ win streak, which was really fun. But yeah, you know, Royal Hogs Earthquake twice in a row, Round Rider Lightning, Logbait, Loon Cycle, Bridgespam. This deck isn't really meta, but this is a pretty annoying Golem Lightning Skelly King deck that I think is pretty meta, with maybe Barrel instead of Bomber, but Bomber's probably even worse for Xbow, actually, because they can just ignore the Xbow and then just Bomber on top, which I think he should have done. I don't know why he didn't do that, but 2.6 with Lightning, I think it is harder than with Fireball, honestly. Splashyard, Bridgespam with Archer Queen Mega Knight, and then finally 3 Musketeers. So a really well-rounded set of matchups for today's Classic Challenge, and I think I'm pretty happy with the way things went, pretty happy with the way I played. you know, keeping it flawless on the channel here with the 12-0s, which I really like, and I hope you guys like it as well, because I do enjoy this, and it is a fair amount of time to commit to a video. You know, usually a lot of people make like 15-20 minute videos max. So on my channel, I obviously have a bunch of longer videos like this, 50 minutes plus. But I guess this just depends on the creator. For me, I'm pretty happy to do this kind of thing if you guys enjoy it as well, and I know you did the last few times. But again, let me know if you enjoyed this one. And that's going to be the 12-win, really nice 12-0. So let's open the chest up. Always nice to get the 12-win chest, even though it's not anything too special. You know, it is a really great value for 10 gems. I mean, if you can afford to play grand challenges as well, like classic challenges are only about 10% worse, I think, in terms of rewards. And still a pretty solid practice, honestly. And I might even be getting the 10 times classic challenge badge pretty soon on this account. I don't think I've lost a classic challenge yet in terms of getting under 12 wins on it. So hopefully I plan to keep it that way. But yeah, some really nice games today. Hopefully I was able to help you guys out with the matchups as well. And just a pretty clean 50-minute video. You know, keeping up the series once every week, going to do a full classic challenge from 0 wins. I don't think any other channel on YouTube is doing this right now either. Like, classic challenges from 0 wins, or at least not that I've seen. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy the content and helps you get better with 3.0 Xbow Cycle. And by the way, balance changes are coming out next week, I believe, and there were some leaks, and I don't know how credible these leaks are, nor do I have anything to do with them, but it is rumored that archers are getting a buff, and even maybe ice spirits. So, you know, if archers do get a buff, which, by the way, I've been advocating this for at least a month, I think now. I made a post on Twitter a couple weeks back, and I really thought about it, and I think they could honestly use a buff. I might even make a video discussing my thought process behind why I think archers should get buffed. But yeah, if they do get buffed, you know, 3.0 Xbow Cycle will be back and better than before. Right now it's pretty bad in the meta, but obviously, as I tried to show you guys in this video, you can play well and still have success with it. But yeah, if archers get buffed, that'll be pretty huge and actually pretty exciting. And hopefully it helps you guys, you know, play 3.0 even better. But yeah, that's going to be the video, guys. Today is going to be the classic challenge video. I think I'm going to try and analyze my subscriber replays that I made a post about a few days ago. I think I will select all the winners today and then try and make the video tomorrow. Hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully I can stick to it. But yeah, I also do intend to make a few more ladder pushing videos. I should probably do more ladder videos, honestly. Like, I don't really have a reason not to. I just don't do them, but I really should. Like, I haven't even pushed much ladder. Like, these are my season highest, 7.1, and this on my other main account. And I could push ladder. I just want to push it for a video, and I just don't get around to it. But I think I will. Hopefully this week, but I do want to do the analyzing subscribers replays first, hopefully. So, you know, hopefully that goes well. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.